in the previous chapter. And all panicky, he manages to break free of the tree and runs away, exiting from the castle's door towards the garden, fast as a lightning and without looking back. Dino chases Mino, running after him towards the garden. But of course, before doing that, he doesn't forget to say goodbye to the three visitors cordially.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Chapter 4. Mino meets Mew. In the meantime, while there is this mess going on at the entrance of the castle, with Mino escaping and shouting in a panicky manner and Dino running behind Mino and barking, high up at the highest tower of the castle, a man is looking out from the window. He is tall and thin, has a white beard and a red pyjama hat on his head. Seeing Mino and Dino running in the garden, he smiles and says to himself,
Kids.
The man has a smart and friendly face. His huge room is very, no, not very, but really very, no, not really very either, but really, really very messy. This man's room is so messy that he can never find what he is looking for. But sometimes he happens to find the thing that he had been looking for the day before. But since he is not looking for that thing at that very moment, but is looking for something else, he puts away that thing he has found in some random place. Thus, the next time he is looking for that thing, he can't find it again. He then has developed his own philosophy of life.
All that one really needs can be found,
he often says.
All that one needs to do is not to look for it.
However, everybody he knew used to tell him that this philosophy of his was plain rubbish, and that he'd better tidy up his room instead of producing such nonsense philosophies. So said everybody to him, and for this reason he doesn't enjoy much the company of others, and he is happy to stay by himself most of the time and to do whatever he likes, provided that he finds what he is looking for. Now, for instance, he is looking out from the window to see if he has left the hat of his pyjama out of the window to let it dry in the sun after washing it. As a matter of fact, he has been looking for the hat of his pyjama all morning. But now that he has seen Mino and Dino running in the garden, he has forgotten what he was looking for and why he has opened the window in the first place. But let's get back to Mino and Dino. Mino keeps on running until he reaches one of the tall trees in the garden in front of the castle. When he reaches the tree, he keeps on running up the tree's trunk. He is not climbing on the tree, he is vertically running up the tree. In other words, he is running on the vertical trunk, as if the trunk was horizontal, like a sidewalk or floor. And apparently, he is not making any effort in doing so. Dino, who meanwhile has arrived under the tree, but is not capable of climbing trees, is astonished to see Mino going up a tree, not by using his hands and legs like all those who climb trees, but simply by running up. "But how do you do that?" he asks. Mino, who was exhausted from the running and was breathing heavily, has by now recovered a little from fear, and finally hears Dino talking to him. He stops on one of the highest branches of the tree and looks down towards Dino.
How do I do what?
How do you run up the tree like that?
Well, I just run up and that's it.
But how? I can't do that.
Well, how come you can't do that? You can walk, can't you? All you need to do is walk up the tree.
Well, no, of course I can walk, but only horizontally. If I try to walk up, like you suggest, on a vertical surface, like a wall or this trunk, the gravity would keep me down. Furthermore, Dino then adds, even in those cases in which a surface is not perfectly horizontal, but only just a little inclined, it already becomes harder to walk or run on it, like when there's a hill. If the hill is too steep, it is difficult to walk up. And walking down is tricky, because you could roll down if you stumble. But if the hill was as steep as 90 degrees, that is vertical like this trunk, then it would be impossible to walk up or down without the help of a rope. Not difficult, but impossible.
Answers Mino. I think you are right, my friend. But then I don't know how I walk up the trunk either. How do I do that?
While Mino is talking to Dino, he is walking on a branch without looking where he is going, because he is looking at Dino below the tree. Mino is actually walking towards a cat who is sleeping on that branch. Dino realizes that Mino is about to bump into the sleeping cat and tries to warn him. Watch out, Mino! Mino has just enough time to ask,
Watch out what?
And bumps into the head of the sleeping cat. The cat doesn't move. She keeps on sleeping as if she hasn't even noticed Mino. Mino, on the other hand, is trying to figure out what he has bumped into, considering that, from his point of view, he can see only the head of the cat, which to Mino seems to be a big fur ball. It isn't easy to understand from that point that this fur ball is actually the head of a sleeping cat. Then, slowly, that big fur ball begins to turn, and two eyes appear out of nowhere, or rather, two slits in which one could imagine there were eyes. And all of a sudden, a cave appears in the middle of this fur ball, a dark and deep cave with big teeth located at the four angles of the entrance of the cave. Then again, suddenly, a huge tongue appears in the middle of this cave and rolls towards Mino, as if it was making an invitation gesture to Mino, like when someone says,
Come in, come in.
Mino, realizing that this isn't a magical cave opening up in front of him all of a sudden, but instead a huge mouth with a big tongue and four teeth of considerable size, gets scared a lot. Again. Ah! He involuntarily jumps back out of fear and bumps into the trunk behind him, which stops him from falling down the tree. And then, from a distance, he now sees clearly, not without some embarrassment, that what he was so afraid of was nothing more than a simple common cat.
Oh,
Thinks Mino in silence, still a little embarrassed.
It is a simple and common cat. No cat is simple, nor common,
Answers back the cat. Mino, not sure if this cat is able to hear his thoughts, to make sure, thinks again in silence.
But can you read thoughts?
Of course I can read thoughts.
Any cat can do it.
Surprised, Mino takes a moment to observe better this cat. It is a beautiful cat, striped, with strong paws, nice green eyes which seem to look inside one's deepest self, and it is slightly overweight, due to the fact that it is particularly keen on the biscuits that the Countess gives her every day, in addition to her regular meals.
I am not overweight at all,
Answers back the cat.
and what I eat or what I enjoy is none of your business,
She adds then, in a threatening manner.
But I said nothing about your weight,
Says Mino, in his defense.
No, not you,
Replies the cat.
someone else, and he knows who he is. Ah, never mind.
Then, turning her head towards Mino, she says,
Well, how are you then, littling? You have just recently arrived at the castle with your family, right? I am not a littling. I am a big ghost,
replies Mino.
Take no offense, Mino,
Shouts Dino from below the tree.
Mrs. Mew calls everyone littlings. Also me. I'm bigger than her, but she calls me littling. Even the Count and the Countess, who are way bigger than her, she always calls them littlings. We are all littlings to her.
Mino, who by now is accustomed to meeting animals who can talk in the Fineflower Castle, isn't anymore that surprised to meet a cat who can read minds. He likes these cats, and hearing from Dino that the cat's name is Mew, Mino reaches out to shake hands with her and says, without any hesitation,
Mew, you are a very nice cat. I'm glad to meet you. And my name is Mino. How old are you? Are you a child too?
I don't allow anyone to call me by my name, or call me you, replies Mew. When you talk to me, you need to call me my feline lady. And I most sincerely hope that no one will never ever again dare ask her age to a lady cat. Despite this severe scolding, Mino thinks this cat is adorable, and he replies with a frank smile and says,
All right, my feline lady. Catch you later then. For now, I salute her.
Just as those words are said, Mino starts to walk down the tree, the same way he had walked up before. Mew looks down at Mino, who's walking down the tree, and thinks silently.
All right, happy little ghost. You are a very smart boy, and you've got a bright heart. It will be an honor for me to have you as my friend.
These were Mew's thoughts, but since no one around was capable of reading minds, neither Mino nor Dino, no one ever heard these thoughts of Mew, and no one would ever know about them except Mew. Reaching Dino, Mino says to him,
Come on, let's go to play.
While the two friends are walking away, Mew turns back to sleep on the branch. So, dear listeners, this chapter ends here. See you in a week for a new chapter. If you like Mino's stories, please do not forget to subscribe to our channel and to tell about Mino to your friends. So bye for now, and see you soon!